What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, man? What up? I already see a familiar face in the chat, man. What up, Red? What's going on, man? Y'all hear me loudly and clearly? Let me know if you can't. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, today we gonna get into these topics. We're gonna talk about what's going on, what's hot out here in these YouTube streets because it's just too much, man. It's too much going on. But for those of y'all who are showing up, let's get it. You know what I mean? What's up? What's up, man? I'm waiting for everybody to get in the chat because, okay, to keep it real, there's only three things I want to talk about. And it's not only because they're three of the biggest topics in hip hop right now. And obviously, I'm talking about the situation that's going on in Dallas and the situation that took place in Memphis and the situation that took place in LA, man. So you got the Big U situation that pretty much kicked off the week of crazy news. And then that was followed up by the Yella Beezy arrest, man, which is even crazier. Then after that, what happened, man? We had Sauce Walka and his artist Sayso P get shot yesterday, and rest in peace to Sayso P, man. But I'm just wondering, man. At this point in time, is there any career that's more dangerous than being a rapper? I got to ask you, man, because this is craziness, man. All right, let me do some shout outs in the chat, man. What's up, Red? Destination Couple, man. The Destination Couple. You was in there for a second. MAGA Cat, what's up, man? Daryl Bolton, what up? What up? This is D from Los Angeles. What's up, D from Los Angeles, man? What up? What up? What's going on, man? We up in here. You know what I mean? Everybody in here, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, man. So I don't want to be delayed. Let's get to these hot topics because I know y'all are waiting, man, to hear some of these latest updates. So what's crazy is we're gonna start off with Yella Beezy. Now, Yella Beezy is in a weird situation right now, man. His career kind of took a hit, and a step back because, like I said in some of the videos that I dropped, when it comes to these Texas artists, Texas is different than a lot of different places. And I like this isn't a video, this is a live so I can kick it with y'all. But Texas is so different because you got a lot of artists who are in Texas, who live in Texas, who are from Texas, who they still have a career after their mainstream career just based off of the sales and the things they do within Texas. Yella Beezy was kind of teetering that line, to be real with y'all. You know what I mean? He wasn't at that Slim Thug level of, I don't need a major. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was an archetype for somebody that would say, oh, they don't need a major, you know what I mean? It would be Slim Thug. And let me give y'all some background music, man. So it ain't just me kicking it. You know what I mean? Y'all get just a little bit of sound there too. Y'all tell me if that's too loud or whatnot. What up, Daryl Bolton? What up? I'm from Memphis, and you gotta be crazy to come here and flex jewelry and be out on the streets. Yeah, man, we gonna look at some of the live, man. So they were live and they were in the club, and they were posting on their story that they were in the club, and they were flexing hard. But y'all know that Sauce Walka, man, and for those of you who are wondering what Daryl's referring to, he's referring to Sauce Walka and Sayso P. They were out in the club the other night, the night before the shooting, but mysteriously or crazy enough, they were shot in a downtown nice area off of Beale Street, right? So it's no wonder. It's wild the fact that, these cats were just essentially, I'm assuming they were minding their business when this took place. Now, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of theories we gonna get to. They saying that, these cats, one of these cats, the Say So P cat, there's rumors out there that he might have been in them streets the dirty way. You know what I'm saying? Running off on plugs, taking 200K, all sorts of stuff, man. And we gonna get to those rumors. But first off, man, let's start off with Yella Beezy, man. Now, Yella Beezy, crazy, man. And I want to bring up this news report, and that's the best place to start. So let's start here, man. Hopefully, I know y'all can see this right here. Let's start off with this NBC News story, man, because it's the most recent.
Rapper Yella Beezy has been arrested and accused of orchestrating the murder of another rapper in 2020.
Rapper Mo3 was gunned down on I-35E. Images of a gunman on the freeway were widely shared at the time. NBC5's Allie Spilliards joins us with more on the arrest. What do you know, Allie?
Brian and Brittany, on Tuesday, a grand jury indicted rapper Yella Beezy, otherwise known as Marquise Conway, with capital murder while remuneration.
Now, what's crazy about this is when Yella Beezy first got indicted, I was like, man, it's been a long time. I know it's been about 5 years since the Mo3 situation happened. So Yella Beezy, I don't know, y'all tell me in the chat if y'all think so. He had to be shocked and surprised by this news. I mean, a lot of people say that when you have a murder over your head, you never really truly relax. Like, you're never in a situation where you're relaxed or you feel relaxed or you feel that you could let your hair down and everything will be all right, man. You'll always have that hanging on the back of your head. But I mean, after 5 years, it's crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy if you ask me. I think after 5 years, you're talking about, man, somebody who probably did feel like they, might have put this behind them, or somebody who probably did feel like, yo, I had gotten past this incident and it's on to new and better things or whatever's going on, right? But in Yella Beezy's case, that was not the truth, man, because as we see, Yella Beezy ended up getting picked up like the story said. But man, let's continue.
In connection to the 2020 shooting death of Mo3. Today, Conway was booked into the Dallas County Jail. A grand jury referral says Conway hired a man named Keywan White to kill Melvin Noble, also known as Mo3. Noble was killed in a brazen attack on I-35 near Marsalis Avenue on November 11, 2020. Police.
Yo, Maggot Cat, I gotta give you this one. You know what I mean? I don't know who want to mess around in Memphis, man.
Say Noble stopped on the freeway when a dark-colored vehicle approached him. They say that's when the man in the other vehicle got out of his car with a gun and began walking towards Noble's car. Noble then got out and ran away. Investigators say the armed man chased Noble and fired several shots, hitting him at least once. A second person in a nearby car was also struck but survived.
I'm wondering why nobody ever got the word from the person who was in the other car who got hit. Like, there was an innocent bystander when Mo3 got shot who ended up getting shot as well, like they just said in the story, right? That person has a first-person account of exactly what happened. They sitting in their car, or they're basically sitting in their car when in the middle of the highway, somebody stops, or in the middle of the freeway, somebody stops in the middle of the road. Somebody is running down the road with a rifle in their hand, shooting at the person. And Mo3, I wish, man, Mo3 was able to get to his gun, man. I just wish, man, because I think that would have evened the odds. And dude was clearly in a situation where he was broad and he was coming at a broad pace. Like Mo3 probably could have got out of that situation by taking dude out and making it. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he could have made it if he would have been able to get to his piece, man. But sadly enough, he wasn't able to. They said something was up with the glove compartment or something like that. That's why it's always good, man, to do your random checks through your vehicle, random checks through your crib, make sure everything is accessible that you need to get to. And I'm not advocating anybody to carry or do anything like that, but, it's a sad situation when things malfunction and you can lose your life, man. Just one of those things to think about, right?
Now, up until now, Keywan White and another man named Devin Brown had been indicted on a murder charge linked to that shooting.
Okay, man, and I hate to stop so quick, but this Devin Brown dude, man. Now, is it true Devin Brown had a romantic relationship with one of the young ladies that Mo3 was messing with, man? They said his whole reason for riding shotgun in this situation, or maybe even being the driver, I don't think they've ever cleared that up in this situation, was they shared a similar love interest. And I think they also say that at the end of this story, but let's check that out. Because Devin Brown, recently, him and Keywan White, they're in the feds for their gun charges. They were felons in possession of a gun, right? Well, their Fed charges are about to run out. And we're going to check a little bit of that out in a second, but let's go.
While police have said White is the suspected shooter, they said Brown was upset over a relationship. As for Yella Beezy's alleged involvement, police have not given a potential motive.
Now, y'all heard that, right? Am I tripping? Or did they say that it was about a
Rapper
relationship?
Yella Beezy has been arrested and accused of
My bad.
orchestrating the murder of another rapper in 2020.
Rapper
Wanted to
Mo
speed
3
through, but
was
man,
gunned
forget-
down on
forget waiting all that
I-35E. Images of a gunman on the freeway were white.
So yeah, Devin Brown allegedly was messing with somebody that Mo 3 was messing with, which is such a sucker way to go out. You know what I'm saying? Like, why in the world would that motivate you to kill him? I mean, obviously, he probably got more money than you, a little bit more fame, a little bit more swag, but you don't know if a rapper has more money than you. Just because they're flexing online, you see them doing things, it doesn't mean that they have a lot of money, man. We've come to learn that not even the hard way, just through social media and rappers giving their own testimony. You know what I mean? But to orchestrate somebody's murder behind it it's crazy, man. I ain't gonna trip. That's crazy. All right, y'all do me a favor, man. Everybody in here, I think it's like 51 of y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button right now, man. And for everybody who already did, as KG would say, you the real MVP. You know what I'm saying? But man, let's go on to this next news story before we get into those charges and things with Devin Brown and Keywan White, man. Now, Keywan White, before we even go there, is an interesting character, man. This dude had alleged crazy shootings under his belt, all sorts of weird relationship things going on, and I don't judge, like, you know, you get it how you get it, you know what I'm saying? But for a street dude, his story is not the normal street dude story, I'll say that, man. You know what I mean? Because he's got other people, you know, other shootings out there that people are saying that he had committed as well. But I have yet to see any proof or anything of that. You know what I mean? Hold up. Let me see how y'all doing on these likes, man. Oh, 22 likes is cool. But, man, 62 would be better. So, man, y'all do me a favor. Y'all make sure y'all run up them likes. Hit that like button. Let's go. You know what I mean? All right, so let's check out this second news story about Yella Beezy, man. All right. Let me look, while that loads up, man, let me look in my chat and see what everybody on, man. Who's out here? What we got going?
Conway, who goes by the name...
All right, man, so this story kind of reiterates a lot of the things that we've talked about before, but it just gives a little spill because, you know, the local Fox affiliates, they usually, man, go for the action, like it's cops or something still on, you know what I mean? My bad, y'all. Let me see.
Conway, who goes by the name Yella Beezy, was arrested and charged for a murder for hire scheme. He was arrested earlier this week connected to the 2020 figure. Dallas rapper Marquise Conway, who goes by the name Yella Beezy, was arrested and charged for a murder for hire scheme. He was arrested earlier this week connected to the 2020 murder of another rapper. Fox 4's Stephen Dahl is in the newsroom with more. Stephen.
Steve, the murder victim back in 2020 was Melvin Noble, who went by Mo 3. Noble was killed in...
Now, have y'all seen any of the stuff of Mo 3's mom kind of going to social media and putting it out there, you know, her sending, you know, basically, you know, asking for justice for Mo 3? I just thought that was interesting because I saw the picture of them all together, Mo 3, Yella Beezy, and I believe it was Trap Boy Freddy or whatnot, man. So to think they was in his mama's house, and then it always ends up like this, man, especially in hip hop. It always seems like cats will be friends, and then all of a sudden they're enemies. Look at King Von and Quando Rondo. Look at even go far as back as Biggie and Tupac. Biggie used to sleep on Tupac's couch, literally, you know, and Tupac used to try to school him in what the rap game was and entertainment and try to focus on both ends of that. Literally, man. So it's weird, man, that cats start off as friends, then they end up being enemies to this extreme.
An ambush-style shooting during the day while he was on I-35 in Dallas. Investigators identified Kewan Dontrell White as the shooter in that crime. White is currently serving 9 years in prison for a firearm charge connected to the shooting. Conway, who goes by Yella Beezy, is accused of hiring White to kill Noble.
All right, Steve, what's the backstory on this?
He wanted to get to the juicy part. But man, I will never forget that day and that scene, because I think it was this same exact week that King Von had passed away, man. That Mo 3 got shot. And this, man, on the highway, these dudes knew they wasn't never getting away or something, man. Like, there wasn't dude Kewan White, like I said, I don't know, maybe he just gave it up to the game because he ain't cared, you know what I mean?
What are prosecutors saying about a motive for this hit on Noble?
Yeah, so we've requested court documents outlining the claims by investigators to arrest Conway. We usually are able to get...
This is the important part right here. I hope y'all lock in, man, because it's not sealed right now, but they've leveled it up to the grand jury, so the grand jury is actually controlling this case. So when we get the information on the charges, the motive, all the summary and stuff besides what we've seen so far, it's pretty much going to be spoon-fed to us.
Get an arrest warrant affidavit. That's where we get a summary of the evidence in the case, but because this case was a grand jury referral, we don't have access to that information. So exactly how Conway is linked to the murder for hire plot is unknown, but it was strong enough information for the grand jury.
Got it. So the murder or hit was almost 5 years ago. What's Conway's current status?
So at last check, jail records show that Conway is still in jail being held on a $2 million bond.
Now, a lot of people in the comment sections of one of my videos was like, oh, Yella Beezy got money. Yella Beezy got a G-Wagon he can sell. He got all this that he can sell or do, man. And he flashes a lot of money or whatnot. So this, I was anticipating he'd be out on bond quick, like immediately. Like it wouldn't be anything but a thing, you know what I mean? But it looks like Yella Beezy is still in custody, man. Now, it might be a paperwork issue. It might be some administrative stuff that needs to be handled between him and the bail bondsman to get that amount of money transferred or whatnot. But $200,000 just cash lying around is rough, man. That's rough. I mean, hopefully y'all was listening to Boosie when he talked about his trials and tribulations going through the rap game and ended up having a case where he was on death row and then his case getting time, man. When you fighting these cases and stuff like that, man, that money dries up. Like Lil Durk is in a position to where I don't think he's seen the full effects of that yet, but it's definitely coming. Witty sounds and looks like a black Shrek, the ogre. I don't know. Funny, man. A black Shrek ogre, man. People always, man, they always trip out when they see me in person, man. It's a good joke, though.
Bruh.
All right, back to the topic, man. Sometimes I get in the chat and I get to cruising. But besides that point, the main point of that is, I don't know if Yella Beezy is going to have the money just on hand to pay that bond, man. He might. He probably does. It's not a stretch, you know what I'm saying? He's out there balling, so it's not a stretch. But we will see.
If he is able to bond out, there's a list of things that he would have to abide by to be in those rules and regulations until his court appearance.
Got it. Okay. All right, Stephen down.
All right. So even if he does bond out, Yella Beezy is going to have a list of rules, regulations, and things that he's going to have to abide by. But Yella Beezy seems unproblematic. He doesn't seem like a guy who's in the streets like that. He doesn't seem like a guy who really gets into anything, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen anything outside of this and the rainwater situation and him obviously getting shot. But we'll say, okay, so let's get to some of the rumors on that. Now, the rumors out here is that Yella Beezy, Mo 3, Trap Boy Freddy were all in a situation where they were busting at, were ops. And that Mo 3 was allegedly the aggressor in the situation. Mo 3 was allegedly the one who was actually trying to put belt to ass when it came to this beef. Like, he got upset with Yella Beezy behind the Roy Lee situation. And like I said, this is all rumor. So y'all stop me and correct me if you want, especially in the chat. But that's the rumor, man. The rumor is that, when it came to that situation with Roy Lee, that was the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to Mo3. And that's why he was so heavily on Yella Beezy's head. And he rumored to be the one responsible for what happened to Yella Beezy. So this would in turn be a retaliation shooting. Now, is all that true? Is any of that factual? I do not know. I don't believe it is. I think all these guys are just, their names get thrown in here because they're big rappers. But that's what the streets are saying. I'm going to keep it funky, man. That is exactly what the streets are saying. And that's exactly what people are believing out here, man. I wonder if Mo3 was really that much of an aggressor in this situation, and he was really trying to get at Yella Beezy, really trying to get at Trap Boy Freddy, how come from only one end of that did you see any type of celebration when he lost his life or whatever, man? Because remember when Mo3 lost his life, Trap Boy Freddy, he had a whole barbecue, he was partying or whatever, he was drinking, you seen the videos he was dropping, he was going with his people, they was hitting the streets and whatnot, but you didn't see that from Yella Beezy's side at all. You didn't see any of that celebration. You didn't see anybody trying to really revel in the fact that Mo3 had lost his life. It just seemed like for Yella Beezy and them, they went quiet. Maybe that's out of strategy. Maybe that was a good reason they went quiet. Maybe they figured, yo, man, we don't want to get involved in any of this as far as, broadcasting this because it's real in these streets. But with that being said, I want to look at something else that I seen that was dropped about a month ago. And this was posted by My Mixtapes. And I'm wondering if you guys saw this as well. And I want to bring this story up. All right, this right here. Men accused of killing Mo3 are scheduled to be released soon. Now, we'll get into the specifics of how this works and all that and talk about that. But check this out, right? So it goes on to say that Devin Maurice Brown, that's his registered number, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's in Beaumont, which is a federal facility. And these guys, remember, most of these guys copped to the gun charge when they were arrested. So when they were arrested, they copped to the gun charge almost immediately. That's a federal crime, being a felon in possession of a gun. So currently, Devin Brown and Keywan White are both doing time in the feds. So as they're doing time in the feds, their time is almost up. Because remember, this happened 5 years ago. So if they immediately cop to those charges, it's about time for them to be getting released. So as you see for Devin Maurice Brown, his release date was supposed to be in February. Thing is, with these cases, if you do your Fed time and you have a murder hanging over your head for the state, if the feds didn't pick it up, the state is gonna pick it up, and they're gonna charge you for that murder and put you into custody immediately after. So maybe that's why you haven't seen anything moving on his side. But even for Keywan White, you see his release date here of June 9th, 2028. The same thing is probably going to happen. Or it's not even probably. It's the same thing is going to happen. If he gets released for this time, for his Fed time, the state's going to pick it up, and he's going to go to the state and be in jail waiting on his charges for capital murder. So regardless, it's not like they're gonna be free in the city just partying or anything like that. It's a crazy situation with these murder cases because, and it's not crazy. It's actually for the protection of society. So I kind of get it, but you're never gonna escape that, man. And the laws, when it come to murder, they ain't never gonna stop looking. They're gonna keep looking. They're gonna stay on your heels. No matter what. Yeah, you think that your time is up in the feds? Yeah, the state coming through. We ain't forgot about that murder, boy. It's on. You know what I mean? Not a laughing matter, but y'all feel me? So, man, it's going to be crazy to see that happen. You know what I mean? And it couldn't happen to a better group of guys because all this that they took Mo3's life for, allegedly, is bogus, man. It's bogus. Like, this is minuscule, minor in the story of life, man. Especially if you're gonna be living a long life. Even the being a street dude, the being a rapper part of your life is a small chapter There's so much more after that you should be aspiring to. And to throw it all away over a dang rap beef or anything like that, and obviously this wasn't their beef, except for Devin Brown. Devin Brown, allegedly he got involved in this because Mo3 was messing with a girl he had interest in, or they were sharing the same old lady or something crazy like that is the rumor. But still not worth it, man. Never be worth it, because when you locked up, you in that federal holding, you in prison, you in jail, that girl gonna be out here messing with everybody. And what you gonna do about it? You in jail, you in prison, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt your ears to even hear about it, dog. Especially if she's already messing with this rapper and that rapper. Dog, it's best to count your losses and just keep moving, man. For anybody, man. That's real talk. Words of wisdom by Witty. No, I'm gonna get back into the chat in a second. And I see a lot of you guys have a lot of questions. But man, in closing with this whole Yella Beezy topic, and as we go over the news story and we covered all that, it looks like so far Yella Beezy is still in prison, or excuse me, it's still in jail, still in holding. And he's waiting on the possibility of getting bond, but probably they got to move some money around. A lot of people have to take a lien out on their property and things like that, which is, it's horrible, man. That's a horrible situation to be in. Or take a lien out on their parents' property or something like that. It's just ugly stuff messing with your books in that way, man, because you buy a property, you looking for a long-term investment, you have to take a lien out on your property to fight your murder case or to get bond for your murder case, and there's a possibility you might lose. You could come out a triple loser in those situations, man. Not funny, but I'm saying now. You know what I mean? All right, man. So let's get off of Yella Beezy, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be more to hear about Yella Beezy's situation in the future, and it'll be coming out daily. And be looking out for my daily blogs, too. I started back posting daily blogs. Check some of those out, man. For the latest updated information. I'm trying to keep them coming as quick as the information is let out. So, man, be quick on the trigger. And speaking about being quick on the trigger, y'all make sure y'all quick on hitting that like button, man, because that ratio is off, man. Let's get up to 60 likes 60 likes if we can. You know what I mean? And we be all right, man. So everybody who wants, or everybody who already hit the like button, I should say, man. Let's go. And it ain't too late for you to hit it right now. But man, let's move topics. All right. So let's go to, before we end with Sauce Walka, let's talk about this Big U situation, man. Talk about ugly, man. And let's talk about Big U. Talk about ugly, man. All right. And when I'm talking about this situation that's going down out there in Cali, man, out there in Los Angeles, involving Big U. This is one of the craziest situations possible, because essentially there's a whole podcast that's going to be, I don't know if they're reaping the benefits or they're or getting hurt by this situation. I don't know. It's hard to judge, but based on the level of content they're able to put out from this, I don't know, because you got Loose Cannon. You've got Brick Baby. These are constant figures over there on No Jumper, man. Shout out to them. No Jumper be handling their business. They know how to make some content, don't they? But, man, I'm pretty sure even for them, they didn't expect this coming, man, because when it comes to Brick Baby, it seemed like when it comes to Loose Cannon, it seems like according to the indictment against Big U and this Rolling 60 Rico, Loose Cannon might have just been saying way too much, bro. It just seems like that. Like, a lot of the things that he said during those interviews, believe it or not, it was real stuff that was listed in the indictment, man. Because remember, in the press release that came from the Department of Justice, they basically talked about all the dealings and how these guys are podcasters or whatever. But when the paperwork dropped, the actual paperwork dropped, You could see that in the case, they had Loose Cannon listed as a defendant. They had Big U listed as a defendant. And man, all the information that they were getting, a lot of that information was coming from podcasts. It was coming from their time on the No Jumper platform, telling these stories, these real street stories, which for any street dude, man, should be, I don't know, it should be scary. I'm gonna keep it real. Now, let's get to the news story to catch everybody up to date who maybe during the week they were busy working, didn't get to lock in and see any of the news or things that was out there, and we'll give some commentary on that, right?
This just in, the FBI says that South LA crime boss Eugene Big U Henley is now in custody. Authorities say he ran a mafia-like organization while masquerading as a music mogul and gang peacemaker. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez spoke to a rapper who worked with him. She joins us live with a story you'll see only on Fox 11, and this story breaking as we speak, Christina.
Yes.
All right, before she gets her take going, so Big U, they're classifying him as some sort of mafia-type boss, which is crazy, you know? In the streets and on hip-hop songs, it sounds pretty cool, right? But when it comes to work going in facing a federal indictment, it's not that cool. You don't want anybody to be referring to you as a mafia boss or mafia-like figure, man. Because you know what comes with that? Mafia boss and mafia figure like time. And I'm pretty sure Big U ain't trying to do all that time that they're going to throw at him.
As a matter of fact, I am hearing that Big U and the other person they were looking for, Brian Mejia, both turned themselves in. This is developing as we speak. And as we speak, people are coming up and saying, on the one hand, that he did a lot for the community. And then there are those like this woman who say things are not what they seem. Listen to her.
No, I'm not surprised.
Now, I've never heard of this lady before. But I think, man, there's been stories on social media prior to this that Big U had some people he was actually, you know, roughing up and doing crazy stuff to, who were trying to reach out and get people to talk about. But I mean, her story is a total contradiction to the things that we had learned about Big U prior to this incident. Because don't forget, prior to this, they were putting Big U out there like he was this ideal father. He was this ideal guy in the community because, you know, he had this football league. Don't forget the football league. He had all these businesses and this gang intervention, and he was talking to the youth. Even I went back and did some research. Remember when T.I. got caught up with his gun case and his gun situation? Back in the day, I'm talking about back, he was his parole, or excuse me, his conditions to be out on not bail, not his parole, not his pardon. Somebody will say it in the chat. But a part of the conditions with him working with the community is he had to do this TV show with MTV, right? So this TV show with MTV, T.I. went to different cities and talked to youth who were allegedly in the streets or whatnot and tried to encourage them not to be in the streets. And T.I. enlisted Big U as one of the guys to work with him in Los Angeles to talk to youth who were trying to get into gangs or who were finding themselves in the gang life or whatnot. And Big U sat and talked to several kids with him, man. So it's crazy to think that, Big U in turn might have really been out here doing some dirt, allegedly, man. Because according to what's been said already in all this paperwork, man, they saying Big U was out here, shooting people, man. I don't know how else to put it. There's no other way to say it, but they said that, he shot a young dude, I think like a 19, 20-year-old dude that had came up under him, had lived with him from time to time, had played football with his son, and he allegedly, man, put the hammer on him, man, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
But, man, let's continue with this news story.
Because I've been fighting this fight for a long time.
Rapper Alicia Choi speaks about federal authorities accusing LA rap music executive and community activist Eugene Big U Henley of leveraging his connections with the Rolling 60s Crips to run a criminal enterprise, even funneling funds from his community nonprofits into his criminal operations.
You cannot do evil when the cameras are off.
Now that's the part that I couldn't understand, bro. Like, why in the world would Big U be taking that money directly from that account and putting it directly into his account, it just seems like a red flag, man. Like, I don't know, man. I always have a fear. Like, I always think like the IRS is out to get everybody and that they're looking at everything. And if you're in the streets and you run some sort of nonprofit or something like that, I would think you would assume that they're looking at the books all the time and wondering if you're gonna do something and mess up, if you're gonna try to break any type of rules, or try to catch you up. And taking money from a nonprofit organization or a charity, which is even worse, right? Taking money from a charity and then taking that money and putting it into your own personal bank account is one of the craziest things I heard, man. That's wild.
And smile and help kids when the cameras are on.
Choice, who you may have seen in rap videos like this one, says she was a budding artist when she first met him.
I was just a young kid wanting to rap and wanting to live out my dream and working hard. And, he really took advantage of me. I wanted to help bring donations into his nonprofit development options. And with that being said, he just wanted to take over. He wanted to bully me. He wanted to control me. And when I wouldn't allow that, that's when he started jumping on me and beating me, extorting me, threatening people not to work with me. And I was scared for a long time to speak up. I was actually terrified.
And I want to emphasize, these are very serious accusations.
Yeah, man. And they hit the nail on the head on that part. Because Big U, like I said, even the news lady, you're going to see they're conflicted because of all the positive reporting that they did on Big U before. They're like, man, this is crazy. This is like a total different person than what, because Big U has a son that's in the NFL. I believe he plays for the Chargers or the Rams, one of the LA teams, right? And, Big U ran this football organization that he was in charge of, and playing competitive games. Looked like he was gearing and putting kids in the right direction in life. You know what I mean? And to hear all this crazy stuff now is wild, bruh.
She is making. And, she says it is her fear, which makes it very difficult to follow up on these things. But she says her fear kept her from going to police. She did not file police reports, but that she did try getting a restraining order at one point. Now, what the feds, and we'll go to his photo again because it's hard to see him as a person that the feds are saying what he did when we are used to seeing him in such a different light. What they're charging him with has nothing to do with what she is accusing him from. The charges do not include anything of what she's saying, but they do say that part of the investigation involves the murder of another young rapper back in Las Vegas.
Okay, so she just came out and said that in the charging documents, none of what the other lady said is corroborated. So like I said, man, they conflicted because he was painted as this hometown hero type of dude, man.
Yes. Back in 2021, I talked to police in Vegas, and they told me over the phone that the murder was over, are you ready for this? A diss. That he had written something in a song supposedly talking.
Now what's crazy is that wasn't the first time that Big U was accused of putting hands on somebody because of a diss. It was alleged that he put hands on Nipsey Hussle because of a diss. It was alleged that he had gotten to it with Corrupt, not over a diss, because Corrupt wanted to be in the streets so much, and he was against that. It's wild that, Big U and these rappers, it always seems like he's putting his, alleged to be putting his hands on them, man. So why in the world, it feels like when it comes to managers or, people who discover talent, they always feel like they have this ownership over the artist. Y'all ever peep that? It's this weird, I own you, I own this, you gonna do what I say type of weird relationship with artists, man. That managers and people who discover talent and agents and stuff have with them. Like, dog, this person isn't an independent person on their own. Like, you ain't nothing without me type deal, man. It's crazy, man. And I always peep that, man. I don't know, maybe it's flashbacks of the 5 Heartbeats or whatnot. But I got those type of vibes from Suge, and I get those type of vibes from Big U, man. But let's rock.
bad about Big U, and that is why he ended up getting murdered. That's what the police were telling me. So it's just still developing. There's going to be a lot more to this whole thing, but we can tell you he has turned himself in, and I'm sure a lot of people are waiting to hear what he has to say about this, including us. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live in Park. Back to you guys.
Okay, man. So from that news story, you gather, for anybody who's been, busy working this week, you didn't get a chance to get an update. You were wondering what all the fuss is about. That's the fuss, man. Big U, man. A namesake in the hip-hop community in Los Angeles, and a guy who's known for his podcast, I think it was called Check-In or whatever, was put out there to be, by the feds, a mafia-like boss who, in conjunction with his unique enterprises, used his influence in the Rolling 60 Crip gang to carry out mafia-like operations. Everything from extorting businesses, and they said mostly like gray-like businesses, so people who were in, sketchy type industries. So say like dispensaries and people like that. He was doing a lot out here. And the crazy part about it, a lot of this stuff has been discussed on a lot of these podcasts. So man, let's actually get into some of the finer points of the paperwork that I wanted to talk about outside of the video, man. So hopefully you guys can see. Ooh, hold up. Y'all give me a second real quick. Because I want you guys to be able to see this paperwork real quick. And with that, man, let's actually, everybody make sure you hit that like button as well. You know what I mean? Take your time, hit that like button, man. We're going to be here for a second. All right. So hopefully you guys see that. Yep, you do. All right. So this is straight out of the indictment of Big U, right? This is allegedly what's going on. Well, this is what's out there on social media, right? So on the top, you see Big U's name, Big Eugene Henley, a.k.a. Draws, well-respected name in the streets, a.k.a. Hannibal, a.k.a. Anybody Killer.
Bruh.
That's a hard name. That's a hard nickname, man. Anybody Killer as your street name? That's wild. OG Bear Claw, Tremaine Ashley Williams, which is Loose Cannon, and this chick by the name of Manny. They were calling her Trap Kitchen Manny. Manny, I guess, is her nickname. You know what I mean? She's involved in this. They got Blanton, Tiffany, blah, blah, blah. Brick Baby. That's what I wanted to get to. My bad. I'm going to have to do some search. It ain't far, so y'all ride with me, but we going to talk about Brick Baby. Because Brick Baby is a wild dude, man. And he's got some cases out here. All right, so including Henley Robinson and Zahir Mitchell. All right. So Brick Baby, man. Now, this is a point I made in one of my videos that I pointed out, man. This section right here, bruh. The court also authorized the interception of audio, visual, nonverbal conduct via closed circuit television. So Brick Baby was under extreme heavy surveillance, man, after getting out of jail when he got caught up with the weapons. Now everybody said he had an AK, but in his paperwork, I didn't see an AK. I saw several different pistols and I saw several different types of ammunition. But he got caught up with a weapons case that was sealed, but it's currently unsealed. Like a lot of that information is now unsealed, and everybody is pretty much running through the paperwork, trying to see if there's any weaknesses in Brick Baby's armor, or is there anything that he wouldn't be willing or able to do the time for. But as you see here, he was under tight surveillance. He had to know this after leaving. Like in the back of your head, you leave from the feds and you walk out of there. You're not in jail or being held into holding. Like what in your mind wouldn't tell you that, yo, man, you know what? Let me eliminate any type of communications or anything outside of anything legitimate. You know, I'm being heavily surveilled. He probably didn't even know they were doing CCTV surveillance on him. I guess if he pulled up to the 7-Eleven, you know what I'm saying? They was watching him there trying to see who he was talking to.
Bruh.
They was on Brick Baby heels, man. Like, this is crazy. When he pulled up to No Jumper, they was probably, man, looking around the corner to see if Brick Baby was in there. Man, I hate to, it's not a funny thing, and I hope all these guys are proven innocent in this case, and that nobody does any long stint in jail. But god dang, bruh. You know what I mean? Now, they also were looking at him through the installation of video and audio bugs in a location. What is that location? I was like, okay, through the installation of video and audio bugs in a location. Is that his house? Where they bug it? Did they bug his house? Did they bug his job? Knock on wood. My bad. I know that was loud, y'all. But I ain't gonna put it on them, man. I like No Jumper and I like their platform, so I ain't gonna put that on them. But where is the location that they bugged to watch Brick Baby? I'm pretty sure everybody who's cool with Brick Baby wants to know that. Anybody who rode in his car want to know that. Anybody who been around Brick Baby want to know that, man. This is crazy, man. Now, it doesn't end there. Because they were talking about, checking in. That was the point I was going to get to. Checking in. Now, checking in. When I'm wrong, I'll admit it, right? Because there was a guy who came out and told the world he wasn't checking into nowhere. And I couldn't stand this guy. And his name is 6ix9ine. And I hate to put him out there like that, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I couldn't stand him personally. It's just the antics were getting old after a minute, and I couldn't stand seeing him just run around acting like he was the toughest dude in the world. But what 6ix9ine did do that I do respect is, and y'all pardon me as I scroll through this paperwork, I know that's flashing quick. What I do respect that 6ix9ine did was when it came to checking in, 6ix9ine said, ain't no way in the world I ain't checking into nobody, man. Come to find out through this indictment, man, checking in seems like just a way to open yourself up to extortion with these gangs. Now, famously, there's been a clip that's been going around this week of Schoolboy Q talking about people checking in to people who are going to rob them and how dumb that is. And I believe that, man. And based on what we see in this paperwork, it seems like that's 100% factual. Because why in the world would you check into somebody who's in a gang? A known gang member, active gang member, somebody who already gave their life up to the streets, and think they're going to have your best interest at hand. When you could just go to the fancy side of LA, go over where it's nice, and just have you a good time. Are there going to be people who are scandalous over there? Yes. But that white collar scam, and when I say white collar, I mean people, you know, your hustlers in suits and stuff. You can avoid that with just a simple no, and I ain't going for it. When it comes to people checking in and then you have to worry about somebody backdooring you for a robbery / murder, because for some reason when it comes to hip hop and rappers, they can't just rob them. They got to shoot them and kill them for some reason. And it ain't like they got to, but they do, man.
Bruh.
It's almost every time. We see the proof. PNB Rock. We see the proof. Pop Smoke. We see the proof. Any other rapper who's been shot and killed in LA, man, they love. And LA rappers, and I'll give this to Brick Baby and the Almighty Suspect. They were recently on the No Jumper podcast, and they said this. Our biggest lick in LA, the thing that we're known for and the thing that gets us money, is getting out-of-towners. Making sure out-of-towners are robbed, dog. If it ain't flocking and breaking in houses, which is kind of drying up because, you know, they got a task force dedicated to that locally, the LAPD, and they put out the listings every week or whatever. It's like its own column in the Los Angeles Times. Their biggest profits aren't made through, you know, jugging on the streets. It's actually going out and, well, yeah, I guess you can say jugging, but it's actually going out and robbing out-of-towners, man. So why y'all want to go to these people hood and post up is beyond me, man. Why y'all want to go to these people block and hang out and say, yo, man, look at this, man. I'm in the 40s, what's up? Or that's a bad example because no diss to Adam 22. I thought that was cool. That was different. It's his artist. But going to like the Slauson and Crenshaw, look, I'm on Slauson and Crenshaw. What are you doing there, bruh? Hey, look at this, man. I'm at St. Andrews Park, man. I'm with the real ones. Huh?
Bruh.
Dog, what are you doing, man? Like, no, man. If you got money and you want to have a good time and you're on vacation, be on vacation. Because from what we see in this paperwork, by the time you land, if you're a celebrity, they know you there anyway. They got people at the airports looking for you. They got people driving Ubers who are looking for you. It just, if you're a celebrity or you're anybody who looks like you're successful, they're going to be on your bumper, man. So that gets us to this, the check-in. Henley and the Big U Enterprise are widely known for requiring a check-in for out-of-town entertainers or gang members in Los Angeles. As Henley described in the docuseries, if I don't answer the phone, it can be the death for someone else. Everywhere, there's someone like me, and you can't put a monetary value on his touch in hip-hop. Now, this came from Big U himself.
Bruh.
Well, let me stop. No, I ain't got no issues. Big U and them, I'm cool. I ain't got no problems, man. I'm not making a joke out of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a civilian blogger, podcaster, interviewer, man. I don't want no beef. You know what I'm saying? But Big U said this himself, man, that if he don't answer that phone, somebody could get killed. So you got to check in with him, sort of. That's what he's insinuating. Now, after more than 3 decades as a Rolling 60s member and several years managing famous hip-hop artists, Henley was widely regarded as an original gangster, or OG. Why are they trying to make this sound so dramatic, but whatever. In the docuseries, record producer Andre Young, a.k.a. Dr. Dre, explained that it's very helpful to have an OG who can clear the streets. Within this operating environment, Henley instituted the concept of the check-in when hip-hop artists and other celebrities visit Los Angeles. Now, the individual must check in or meet with the local street representatives or said city to pay a tax or fee for permission both to move about freely, to have an event, or conduct business in that other city without the risk of harassment or danger from criminal elements. That is the same thing the mafia used to do back in the days. Like when you watch the Godfather, or you even watch The Sopranos, man. Back in the days, you know, it used to be, hey, man, anything can happen to your business, so you're paying a protection fee. Essentially, a check-in is a protection fee, man. They're asking you to pay them so nothing happens to you. That's extortion, man. That's somebody, and the crazy part about it is 9 times out of 10, just like with the mafia, they go to somebody's store and bust the window out. You know what I'm saying? Back in those days, it was expensive for people, a business, to replace those glass windows. So they would come to the business out. My boss, he loves this neighborhood. He hates to see a thing like this happen to a guy like you. You running a legitimate business here. I'm putting on my mafia voice. You running a legitimate business here, and somebody comes and does this to you. You know what? Pay us a little fee of what you make every month. And you know what? That'll never happen. We can promise. And if it does, we'll replace it. And the person who does it, they'll pay for it dearly. And you don't want to know what happens to them. Okay, Mr. Gangster, here's some money. You know what I'm saying? Let me pay this protection fee. Essentially, that's what they're saying that Big U is doing. He was basically telling people that, yo, if you want to move about freely and you don't want to have something bad happen to you, you see what happened to Biggie. You see what happened to Pop Smoke, rest in peace. Rest in peace to both of them. See what happened to P&B Rock. There's a danger of criminal elements in this city. I'm the guy who can prevent that from happening, right? Man, get out of here, bruh. They are basically making you pay a protection fee. And what's crazy is black people are only doing this to black people, man. They only doing this to hip-hop artists and rappers. Do R&B artists have to pay a protection fee? Do actors have to pay a protection fee? Matter of fact, Do pop artists have to pay a protection fee? No? Then they'd have to miss me with that, man. Forget that mess. I'm mad so many people fell for this. NFL players, NBA players, rappers, all fell for this, man. And if you were tied to a LA-based gang, it was always like pushed upon you. Like somebody reach out to you and tell you had to check in or whatnot. So for that reason, and I hate to even say this, I have to give 6ix9ine some credit for that. Being the first one to officially get on social media and be like, man, I ain't checking into nobody. Screw that. All right, y'all don't make Justin Bieber check in. We saw Justin Bieber. Didn't he go to Fruittowne Piru's hood? Or he went to Gonzales Park, right? In that Fruittowne. Y'all tell me in the chat. But he went to somebody's hood, right? And they didn't make him check in and pay no fee. They were all starstruck. Justin Bieber, oh my God. We can't treat our own stars like that, our rappers like that. They got to check in or either be met with danger from criminal elements. Man, get out of here, dog. But people were going for it. And Big U, I guess he was so proud about it that he went to a podcast and bragged about it, which is crazy, man. Somebody said Jay Prince extortion in the chat. Oh yeah, shout out NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy said, not me and not today, man. He told Jay Prince and them, no, I ain't doing all that. I'm not coming to see you. I'm not paying you no protection. I'm not doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, if that protection from Jay Prince and all that was really worth something, what's up with Takeoff? Rest in peace. Takeoff lost his life being an innocent bystander at a dice game, and he was there with Jay Prince and them people. And what did you see Jay Prince Jr. do? Jay Prince Jr. dang near walked over Takeoff's body to get him out of there, bruh. So don't tell me, man. They can't never tell me all that checking in, protection, rocking with somebody in the city, you know, making sure you're next to us is anything but an extortion ring and that it ever really truly pans out or works. When have you heard of somebody getting in the streets for a rapper? Last time I actually even heard of something like that was during Super Bowl weekend in Vegas, and it was an NFL player who just randomly had some dudes do some shooting for him. You know what I mean? And it was random. You know, you never hear about that. So it's almost like an insurance policy that you never get to see the benefits of. So I'd take a page out of Schoolboy Q's book. I ain't checking in with nobody. I'm going to go over here and party with these white folks where it's nice. There's water. There's drinks. It's just very fancy. I got money. Forget all that. And rappers, please, man, if you're going to go out to L.A., stop going to somebody else's hood to check in, bruh. That's just, it's stupid at this point. You got paperwork like this telling you it's dumb. You got everything out there leading you to tell you that this is a bad decision. But guess what? They still going to be doing it. Be like, oh, that's gang them, man. They never, you know what I'm saying? They got my back. I'm a real one. Whatever. You know what I mean? What? I appreciate it. Shoal is ugly. I know. I get it. I get that compliment a lot, man, you know? That's why I got into this line of work. But regardless, man, before we continue, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Oh, yeah, and make sure you share this video and make sure y'all, man, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. But, man, let's continue. Forget all that. Now, according to Henley's statements in the docuseries, as corroborated by investigation, some visiting hip-hop artists and other individuals pay Henley a fee to check in if they are not from Los Angeles. In the docuseries, James Atney, a.k.a. Bimmy. Did Bimmy pass away? This is the crazy thing about Bimmy. Bimmy is Waka Flocka Flame's uncle, like his mom's brother. And Deb Atney, you see his name's James Atney. Deb Atney she used to be the manager of Gucci Mane. She used to be the manager of Nicki Minaj. She was obviously the manager of Waka Flocka and a host of other artists. So they're Bimmy and them and Steve Lobel. All these guys have had their hands in hip hop, in the heart of hip hop, for a very, very long time. And people like me who were reading Double XL like it was going out of style, cover to cover, Ozone, Source. You know what I'm saying? I remember all these things. It puts the puzzle together. You know what I'm saying? Of what's really been going down and who's really been handling business out there and who's connected to who. Because don't forget, when Big U went out to New York and strolled around like he was John Gotti, man. Like, dude, are we forgetting that? Big U was walking around New York like he was the Don of Dons, man. And for anybody who was watching, you had to think like, well, in order for something like that to happen, he's got a lot of pull. Like somebody really, really respects his opinion in these streets or really, really respects what he's doing out here. You know what I'm saying? If I remember correctly, Jay Prince told NBA he had his stuff that was stolen in his people. Now, this goes back and show is ugly. This goes back to the point we were making just a second ago. And I hate to derail from that Deb Atney point. We'll get back there. But just to answer your question or to talk about that, when it comes to paying a protection fee and all that, like I said, with the mafia, what they would do is they would be a shop owner. Happy. He just got his shop. It's up. It's looking crisp and clean. Think of a new shop in the 40s, 50s, or 60s, right? Somebody would go up and break the window out of that brand new shop after their first successful week or something like that, right? Bust the window out. So now they already got an expense. They're like, oh my God, their senses are up. They're like, what if this happens again? This could happen. That's the whole play in that. With NBA Youngboy, I'm not saying that Jay Prince and them did it.
Bruh.
I'm not saying they sent those guys over there to rob NBA Youngboy's umbrella from his Rolls Royce and all that.
Bruh.
But the way the mafia did things like that, and I'm hoping y'all can read between the lines here, the way the mafia did things like that is they would bust that window, then send their guys in there to say, hey, man, we're here to help. Jay Prince approached NBA Youngboy and said, hey, man, I got your stuff back that those guys videotaped stealing. Now, I'm not saying he had anything to do with that. Maybe it was just a kind gesture.
Bruh.
But, man, you guys know what it is, man. Let's keep it real, bruh. Like, this has been going on as old as time. And true to what Big U said, in every city, there's a guy like him. That happens in every city, man. There's a guy who's going to come in, and that might be how he eats. Because based on a lot of the things broken down in this paperwork, looks like him, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, all of them allegedly, this is the way that they were feeding themselves. Like, it's like, yo, they was hitting big licks. I was like, the numbers, I was like, dang. You know what I'm saying? But in order to feed themselves, if somebody isn't working, they don't have a job, and maybe, yeah, he has his charity that was paying him crazy amounts of money, but just another revenue stream. You know what I mean? Keep him living high on the hog and to keep that control. But, man, let's continue. Okay, so we left off talking about Deb Abney and the whole connection with Steve LaBelle, James Abney, and Bimmy. And Bimmy was one of the featured people on that podcast, right? Now, on that docu-series, Big U had an FX docu-series talking about checking in, which is crazy, man. Oh, hold up. All right, man, so let's continue. It says, Bimmy stressed that it is important to know the right people, such as Henley, when visiting places like Los Angeles. However, as a podcaster, Livingston Allen, a.k.a. DJ Academics, shout out to Ack, man, you know he doing big things, explained in the docuseries the check-in is, innocuous to the Commission for the Gang and Neighborhood Wear on OG. I know that's going to bother me later. But regardless, for the gang and neighborhood where an OG is from. Christian Anthony Mathis, a.k.a. Trick, explained in the docuseries that he enforces the check-in in Detroit, Michigan. Now, remember when Trick tried to enforce the check-in on the locks? That went bad. Remember when Trick tried to enforce the check-in on Rick Ross? That went bad. Trick Daddy, I gotta admit, what Big U said, you know what I mean, is kind of true. If you can think about most hip-hop cities, now I don't know if Trick is still making people check in now, Because, you know, the streets, Trick's old, man. He's got to be in his 60s or pushing 62 or pushing 60 as well. And, you know, the streets change, man. When them young Thundercats, them young cats come up, and in Detroit now, and I hate to feel like I'm being too police with that, but in Detroit now, the streets is kind of on some Bloods and Crips type stuff right now. Like the people who are really out there active, like there's like a Blood and Crip thing going on heavy. And yes, you still got your crews or whatever that are known as the whatever crew, the ABC crew, this, that crew. I'm not going to name any specifically or whatever, but there's different crews or whatnot. But a lot of them are starting to get backed up by what it seems like street gangs. You know what I mean? So I don't know if Trick still has that pull. If he does, hey, I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems.
Bruh.
But Trick added, come without permission, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. I created these laws, so I enforce them. Extortion. I added that extortion part, but y'all roll with me.
Bruh.
All we come in for is our portion. Trick further explained that he instituted a no-fly zone in Detroit, in which artists could not perform in the city unless Trick was paid. Now, come on, man. Once again, I'm mad people were actually going for this. Now, when Trick was running his politics and doing this, was in the early 2000s. He had a real tight relationship with Eminem, Proof from D12, a lot of the D12 members. You know, he was running around Detroit. You know, he was in pictures with allegedly with choppers, and people were scared. He would even rush battle raps. Remember when Arsenal battled, I want to say it was Calico. Arsenal and Calico had a battle that they did. I think it was their second battle, and they did it in Detroit. And Arsenal said, yo, I'm going to do it in your city, which is dumb. Because Detroit's one of them cities like, yo, just don't go there. You know what I'm saying? But Trick interrupted the battle. He was in the crowd, and he was like, oh, you said you didn't diss the city. I know my battle rap fans, they know this, and they remember this, bro. And to be honest, it does seem like Trick does hold that certain level of respect, right? Now, without paying a commission to the OGs, well, I can't go on with that without saying this. You know what I'm saying? From me, an outsider looking in, this is so stupid, man. Like, why do that to people? To prevent them from coming to your city or to make them beef up their security? Because it only takes a couple of people to say, you know what, I'm not paying that. You're going to have to do what you got to do, bro. You know? And then you find yourself in a situation where you're going to be locked up or in an indictment like we see right here. All right, my peoples. Make sure I hit that like button, man. Y'all being shady, not shady. Y'all being light on the likes, but man, I love you guys and engaging with the content, and I'm keeping up with the conversation in the chat, so don't think I'm not. I'm going to get to that in a little bit, but we still got a whole nother topic to knock out, man. But I just want to finish off with this checking in thing because it relates to another case that we're going to get to here in a second. So let's skip all that. And it says, without paying a commission to an organization's to an OG's organization, such as the Big U Enterprise, visitors to Los Angeles are at risk of violence. Henley has also provided examples of individuals, aka Quando Rondo, whom Henley discussed in another interview, who was later targeted in a murder for hire plot where his associate was killed. So we're talking about the fact that, you know, he went on the Breakfast Club and talked openly about how Quando Rondo could have probably avoided Lil Pab losing his life or them being involved in the shooting, which was almost, you know, what's a good word for forecasting the future? Forecasting what we would see in the future with the charges coming down with Lil Durk and Brick Baby allegedly being, you know, a part of that indictment. Now, I don't know for a fact that Brick Baby is any part in that indictment. All of that is rumor at this point. You know, now Brick Baby himself has played into that narrative by saying he will, you know, drop the low on you, even if you are rolling 60 from another state, which is crazy to me. So imagine joining up with a street gang. You get beat in, you in the streets, you holding it down, you making your proper connections or whatnot, and then somebody from your own set say, forget it, man, I'm going to drop the low on you, and they don't receive any repercussions from that at all. And I know Quando Rondo is allegedly a rolling 60 from Savannah, and, but a lot of other sets don't operate that way. How do I say this without, there's certain sets that there are people from out of town or whatever, you couldn't get away with doing that, you know what I'm saying, like that. If that makes sense. Y'all can read between the lines. Y'all know what I'm getting at, man. But when Brick Baby was involved, and I'm not saying he was, and he plays to saying that he would do something like that, he said his relationship with Lil Durk was bigger than his Rolling 60 connection to Quando Rondo. So if that ain't no influence, it doesn't tell you do not join that gang.
Bruh.
Ain't even funny, man. I don't know what is, man. You know what I mean? Crazy, man. All right, let me look at this foreshadowing. Good one, Wade LeBron. Nah, that would have been a better word, foreshadowing. So, man, that's what I wanted to talk about as far as that checking in situation, because it ends by saying this. So Tyquan Terrell Bowen, a.k.a. Quando Rondo, who Henley discussed in another interview and was later targeted in a murder-for-hire plot where his associate was killed, when defending this practice in his interviews, Henley has stated that it is no different than when a Learjet flies over the United States airspace. They want to know who you are. Henley said his practice is no different, which I believe indicates that he purports to own and control Los Angeles through the Big U Enterprises. All right, so they're saying that through extortion and this check-in policy, he was trying to get himself more leeway within the streets of Los Angeles, man. Now, at another time, we're gonna pick apart Loose Cannon's involvement and Brick Baby's alleged involvement in his indictment. But for the sake of time, I want to continue on and leave off of Big U and go into what I wanted to talk about, this Sauce Walka situation, man. So y'all give me a second. We're going to get to Sauce Walka here now. Okay, but before that, in closing on the Big U situation, all the information that we're starting to get and all the rumors that are starting to fly out is being provided in record time, man. And as we go through all this paperwork, man, and start to break things down and balance that off of these interviews they've done themselves, it is proof and belief that, man, some gangsters and some rappers just love telling on themselves, man.
Bruh.
All right, man. Now, next door, man, let's go to Sauce Walka. You know what I mean? Sauce Walka, man. Tragic situation out there in Memphis. Sauce Walka, man, I ain't gonna lie. As far as Texas artists are, y'all see all the videos and blogs I've done about them in the past. Obviously, Sauce Walka is one of my favorite. You don't even have to ask. You know what I'm saying? Like my crew, like some of my friends, man, like Sauce Walka is up there for them as far as an artist personally. And to see the situation that he had take place with him and his artists out there in Memphis is definitely heartbreaking, because Sauce Walka, for the most part, he clowns and he trolls with the P game and all that on social media, but he seems generally unproblematic. Like, it seems like he be having a good time out here to me. I don't see where he starts stuff. Yeah, there was that situation in LA where there was a shooting and there was a confusion. It was Sauce Walka involved or whatnot, but it seems like through no problem of his own or through no effort of his own did he bring this energy on himself, right? So, man, let's look at this news story, man, about Sauce Walka.
City of Phoenix.
The suspects still on the run after the deadly downtown Memphis shooting just this afternoon outside the Westin Hotel. Action News 5's Garner Montgomery is live in studio with the latest.
Now, somebody sent me it was a mug shot of I want to say a Hispanic gentleman. I'm trying to be politically correct out here. And they said that he was the suspect and he had been tracked and caught. I haven't seen anything to corroborate that or just to prove that to be true. But if y'all, man, send me, DM me. If y'all seen the suspect was caught in the shooting, and I think it's multiple shooters. At least there was a driver and a shooter. because it was a white vehicle that allegedly fled the scene. But man, let's continue with this.
Police have yet to confirm the identities of these two victims, one dead, one injured, but they did share they believe this was a targeted hit. Now, Action News 5 took these pictures from outside Westin Hotel tonight, where multiple bullet holes can be found right outside the lobby. The shooting happened at 2:42 this afternoon by the front entrance on Lieutenant George W. Lee Ave.
When I saw this took place outside of a Westin hotel, I was like, whoa. You know, the Westin is usually nice. You know, in different cities, some of the Westin hotels have gotten older, and I hate to try to sound bougie or whatever, because I am not. I'm a regular dude. Shoot, I just still live in a shack. You know what I'm saying? Yo, but usually around the Westin is nothing but either other nice hotels on the corner of them and nice walkways, shopping centers, and things like that. So I knew they couldn't have been in any situation where they was in the trenches or somebody's hood or someplace they weren't supposed to be. Sounds like they was just doing a normal tourist thing, shopping.
Two men were shot. One was pronounced dead on the scene. The other is now recovering in the hospital. Police are now looking for a suspect vehicle at this time. They believe it was a white four-door. Memphis police want to ensure the public that downtown is still safe after this act of violence.
Downtown is safe. We have officers here. You know, at Beale Street, we'll have EDU officers available. We'll have
this sheriff is interesting, man. Or I don't even know if this is a sheriff or he's a spokesperson for the sheriff's office, but he's like right out of a movie or something. You know what I mean? But to be honest, what somebody just said, MCAT just said in the chat is true. If I was a rapper, I was an entertainer, especially a rapper at this time, and I speak them street lyrics, I'd have some ex-Navy SEALs, somebody with a badge or something rolling with me, man, especially if I'm getting money like that, because let's be real, security is expensive. That's an expensive hobby, man. But being a rapper is dangerous, so you got to weigh your options in that one, you know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Plenty of officers downtown. This was not a random act. All information shared with me leads to this being targeted towards these victims.
I hate that happened, bro. I really do. I wish we had more peace and less violence, man. Got these good police out here. So, yeah, I mean, you want to get into what you...
Yeah, and it seems like you could just tell you can always judge an environment, and this is going to sound messy, or it's going to sound ugly, man. But you can judge an environment and the level of safety a lot of times by the crowd that you see attends or frequents these places. Like if people are well dressed, they look like they're, they've got their stuff together. You know what I'm saying? They take care of their person. It's just a different crowd than that club that you seen Sauce Walka and Sayso P at the night before. You know what I mean? So it goes to show that they weren't out there looking for any type of trouble. Trouble found them. You know what I mean?
Looking for real. So yeah, I feel safe. Yeah.
We did talk with some family at the scene today. They declined to confirm the names of the victims at this time. They just weren't ready until more into this investigation. Reporting live in studio, Garner Montgomery, Action News 5.
Well, somebody in the comments said that the Memphis reporters are real ratchet. Well, this guy is definitely not ratchet, this reporter right here. But, blogging going on. I guess they felt like the mood to get into was the blog mood, sort of like similar like right now where all this energy is focused on hip-hop and whatnot in the blog space. It's just, man, it was crazy. I remember that. All right, man. So that was the first report that I wanted to talk about with Sauce Walka and what took place with him and Sayso P. But before we get to the second report, I want to give y'all a slight image into the night before all this took place and what we could probably take from that. So let's see if we can get this up.
You gotta start that home.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin', man? I know what's going on, man. TSL Memphis.
Where we at, though?
And we in Memphis right now.
Now, rest in peace. That's Sauce Walka's artist, Sayso P. And this is a video of them having a good time, man. Looked like they was having... This dude was super happy he had Sauce Walka in the house, man. Sauce Walka's a star everywhere he goes, man. So this dude was extra turned up. But a lot of people pointed out the fact that, these cats were definitely putting on, like showing their jewels, showing their shine a lot. And that could always, bring on the wrong type of crowd.
In the M right now, where these rappers don't come to. But some gonna be here, man. Sleep here, stay here, man. So as long as we want to, man. You dig what I'm saying? Certified, man. Going on outside right now. Hey, popping this, man. Normal records, man. You know what I'm talking about? You dig what I'm saying? Head to toe, that man. Head to toe, man. I see that boy. I'm on land with that boy. Louis, that boy. What's going on, man? What the Sosa boat? Ranks in
man. It's a normal day in the Southside, baby.
Yeah, a normal day in the Southside, P.
You see the constant flashing and the constant, man, putting it in there. They putting it out there, man, that, we got these bags, we got this designer, we got this money, we got this Goyard this, we got this. Dog, for cats in the trenches, this is looking like food, man. And it ain't funny because homeboy lost his life, but god dang. Like, if I went to Memphis, Chicago, St. Louis, Los Angeles, I am not going on social media and posting all that balling, all that money, all that getting it, those jewels until I'm home in my bed. Until I done returned safely home back in my bed, I done took that flight, then I post all that. I'm not doing that the night of.
Go yards everywhere, diamonds everywhere, just bankrolls everywhere, money everywhere.
Nah, why would you let him? And I am not blaming the victim in this situation, but man, I wouldn't be letting nobody know I got money everywhere, diamonds everywhere, bankroll everywhere, jewelry everywhere. It's just a bad look, bruh.
Yeah, what up? Everything everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
There's just more shining and grinding, man. Yeah, I had to take the video out, or excuse me, the music out of that part. But this was just them trying to advertise that they wanted to link up, do some promo. I mean, you never know. Somebody could have used that as the way to get to them or find their location. Say, hey, yeah, we want to link up for some promo or some merch. You know what I'm saying? Which is savage, man.
With these man. What are you talking about? Here's the toe them people, man. Got this on bankroll, go yard.
So here you got Sayso P, you got Sauce Walka, and you got Sosa, man. And they all shining, man. They all making it look good, man. Putting them diamonds in everybody's face. But like I said, you never know who's watching. You never know who's on social media looking. And if you really, really flashing money and jewels and stuff like that, man, you're playing a dangerous game. Well,
bruh.
That's the right one.
Diamonds, all this man. We have this man. See what the fuck going on. Holding it. Also, man.
Still holding those. Forever holding, putting it in a gravity unit, G unit.
So man. It's so rugged, man.
Like all that money, look at that, in the designer bag. So if you rob that, you get a nice bag that you could probably resell, and you get all that money in there. It's like a double win, man.
Bruh.
For a robber. And this is them shooting dice. I thought initially this guy right here, I thought that was Big Boogie, but he just looked like Big Boogie. It's not. But you see all this money out there, shooting the dice, Sauce Walka having a good time, Sayso P, rest in peace, having a good time. And then that's it, man. Now, based off of that, you can see where they would draw maybe some people with interest in doing some sort of crime. You know what I mean? Which isn't right. I'm not condoning that at all. I think if you go out there, you work hard, you earn something, it's yours to keep, and nobody should ever try to rob you of it. Nobody should ever try to run down on you for something that you earn. You know what I'm saying? You put your hard work into it, that's yours. You feel me? But in the society we live in, and in the way that social media is working, this social media has become a tool not just for us to view each other in envy and entertainment, it's also become a tool for criminals. Let's keep it a buck. Criminals are using, or people who are in the streets are using social media just as much as everybody else, maybe even more, because they don't have a day job. When you put your phone down, you say, oh, okay, nah, they looking at rappers. They looking at who's in the city. Because this is how they plan on eating. This is how they plan on feeding their family. This is how they plan on buying them some shoes and some stuff, man. So you gotta be more careful, man. It's always best to post after you leave a place. You know what I'm saying? It's always best to do that. But man, people want to put on and show people what they doing, where they at. And for artists, I get it. It's a double-edged sword. Because if you're in town and you're trying to get money, like you're doing features, you're doing promos, you gotta show them that you're in town and you're doing things. You know what I'm saying? And that you're really in town, or they won't believe you're there. So I get that. But man, there's gotta be a certain level of scrutiny in this. And to be real, they were somewhere that they posted that they weren't. But a lot of people have commented on this. There's only several hotels downtown that are really, really nice that most artists would stay at. So at that point, it's just a guessing game and a waiting game to see if they come out of that hotel or not. And it seems to be the case in this situation, right? You expect to crash out at this point. It is common now, sad but true. 100% true, man. 100%, man. People are gonna crash out regardless these days. It's just what it is. Somebody's definitely gonna crash out for that bag, yeah. But man, on to that point, I wanted to just check this last news clip before we get out of here. And let me show you guys this. While this is loading, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Don't be shy on the likes, man. The like button loves you. You know what I mean?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Carolyn Serta. We do start with breaking news, that deadly shooting in the heart of downtown Memphis. It happened just before 3 o'clock this afternoon outside of the West End Hotel near the FedEx Forum. One person dead, another we know is in critical condition. And we find Fox 13's Rosalind Freeman joining us live from that scene. So, Rosalind, what else?
So this was the breaking news report from last night. You know what I mean?
Can you tell us?
Yeah, this has been an active scene for a couple of hours. I want you to take a look at this scene right over here. As you can see, officers are still on the scene working the investigation. This all happened right here on the intersection of B.B. King Boulevard and Lieutenant George W. Lee Avenue, just steps away from the FedEx Forum. It was a busy Saturday downtown here, packed with visitors and family, when suddenly gunfire rang out. Now,
that's wild, man. So famous part of Memphis right there, man. Usually, man, a peaceful place from what I heard, but man, let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. There was a shooting outside of the FedEx Forum not too long ago, man. I don't know what it is about that location, but there'd be, even during the Young Dolph situation, there was a shooting outside of there, right?
This is what Memphis police had to share with us, that one victim was rushed to Regional 1 in critical condition, and one person.
And that person who was rushed out in critical condition was Sauce Walka. And it looks like Sauce Walka has already gone to the media to basically, you know, say that he's all right, he's doing better.
And was pronounced dead on the scene. The shooting again happened in broad daylight, sending shockwaves through the crowd, catching both residents and tourists off guard. People nearby told Fox 13 it all happened so fast, and now there is a growing crowd we'll like to show you of individuals and loved ones gathered just outside the crime scene tape. They're just desperate.
Everybody on their phone keeping up with the updates, it looks like, or either checking they text, but that's society now. You know, people glued to these phones.
For answers.
You know, the suspects got out of a vehicle and appeared to target the two victims as they were in the street.
Okay, man. You heard that. The sheriff said, or the police representative, I'm pretty sure he's a sheriff or somebody like that. I don't know if he's just maybe the police spokesman from their media team or whatnot, but he says it appears to be a targeted shooting. Now, there's a lot of theories and there's a lot of rumors out there. And I am going to preface this. Luke. This is a rumor. These are rumors. I don't know if this is true or if this is factual. But it is being said that Sayso P might have had people looking for him over some $200K or something like that. Now, this rumor is starting to gain legs, man. A lot of people are blogging on it. I don't know if it's true or not. And that's why I preface this by saying it's a rumor. But that he allegedly had taken $200K from a plug or somebody, and he knew that people were on his head. Now, if that was true, one, why wouldn't you warn Sauce Walka and them so they came into town the right way, have more people with them, were prepared for any type of situation that happened? And two, why in the world would you be broadcasting who you's in town with, where you at, why you on social media talking about being in the clubs and all that, man? Now, he was flashing a lot of money. And for a relatively unknown rapper with limited, visibility out there on the mainstream, that seemed like a big bag for him to be carrying on with. He might have legitimate income and things that he's doing. But, a lot of these cats, they play one foot in the streets, one foot in the rap game. And if that's true, I mean, he's kind of setting his team up for failure in that situation.
Bruh.
So what do y'all think about that, man? They saying that's a rumor out there. And I'm watching the chat, so y'all tell me what y'all think. Sayso, a CMG supporter, that's why Sauce got Dolph diss tracks. That's a dangerous situation too, because, man, Dolph's people ain't forgot nothing. And for what I've seen, they was out there moving and shaking for Dolph up until now. Man, I don't think it ever stopped. So you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know about the Dolph connection there, but if that's true, that would make sense, man. Because, Now, they said a white vehicle left the scene. They didn't say if it was a van, a car, a truck, or what, but they did see that it was a white vehicle. And there was a bystander who actually, came and talked to the police. So we'll probably be seeing something. But let's be real. When Big Jook got killed, we seen a whole white thing. Hold up. Uh-oh. Where's my conspiracy theory? I don't have it loaded up. I was like, I have a mystery sound. But remember when Big Jook lost his life? And there was a video of a white SUV that was going throughout the city carrying out shootings. Same SUV allegedly took Big Jook's life. I remember that like it was yesterday. This time, it's a white vehicle that took the life of Sayso P and tried to take the life of Sauce Walka. Now the Dolph connection might be connecting, but I don't know if this is true. That's spooky, bruh. Remember the white SUV that was out there? I want to see white SUV. Big Jook. Maybe I can get a picture to pull up. I just remember it like it was yesterday, that white SUV. And this time it was a white truck again? This time, or a white vehicle. They said white vehicle. They didn't say white truck. They didn't specifically say white truck or anything like that, but I remember it being a white SUV. And it was same SUV was seen at a different shooting. You know what I mean? And this time with this situation, it was a white SUV with Sauce Walka in there, man. We on the case now. Let's cook. Okay. So let's bring this up. All right. We going yep, they never found that white SUV. And it didn't have any tags on it. Yep. I see it right. Okay. Maybe I should show y'all. Hold up. Before we get into this theory about this white SUV maybe being the same vehicle, which would be crazy. That would be insane, especially years later, right? Or a year or so later. Let's finish the rest of this video because, man, we got this.
They got. Yeah, right now this is an active investigation and we're hoping to get some more information. There's no information right now about possible suspects, but that's what Fox 13 is hoping to learn in the next few moments.
As Fox 13's Rosalind Freeman live downtown. All right, Rosalind, we'll check.
And all right. So now that we've heard that story, and that was just basically just a brush up of all the information that we've come to find out in the last 24 hours since this incident hit the news or whatnot. Let's look at a news story about a white vehicle because everybody says that a white vehicle was seen leaving the scene. Eerily similar to the Big Jook situation where he lost his life. So let's do this. Y'all bear with me for a second before I pull it while I pull this up. There it goes. All right. Can y'all see that? Or am I tripping? Hold up, y'all. Technical difficulty. All right, there you go. All right. We didn't put on our conspiracy hats. I hate to do this, man. But man, let's roll with it. Cause somebody said it in the chat. Let's look at this, man. This is, yeah, that's the vehicle. That is the vehicle from when Big Jook, Yo Gotti's brother, lost his life in Memphis. And they said that this was a retaliatory shooting from the Young Dolph situation. And somebody just in the comments just said, who's that? Boy 488, that they never found this vehicle. I mean, is it a possibility that this vehicle could be out there just performing hits? Like this is the car that people go to or they use when they want to get one of Young Dolph's alleged ops? I don't know, man. I don't know Sayso P. He's from Memphis, but I don't know his position on the Young Dolph situation, the Young Dolph, Yo Gotti situation. But that's wild that, this white SUV, that car right there is the car that was seen on the cameras, the street cameras that they use, the highway cameras, I should say, as fleeing the scene from the Big Jook shooting. And there was also a white car that was allegedly involved in the shooting death of Peso P. I mean, white is a very common color when it comes to cars, you know what I'm saying? But, I don't know. That's a little, y'all tell me what y'all think in the chat, man. Do y'all think that's just eerily too similar for it to be a coincidence? Or is it just a coincidence because there's just a lot of white cars out there? Now, they said white vehicle left the scene of Sauce Walka and them shooting, of Sauce Walka and Sayso P's shooting. But they didn't say it was a white SUV. Now, this is from back when Big Jook got shot. As Memphis police work to solve the Anthony Big Jook Mims murder, they're asking the public for help. According to Fox 13, investigators believe the killer fled the scene in a white Ford Explorer. The Memphis Police Department released photos of the vehicle on Sunday, January 14th, this was last year, and noted it had black wheels and dark tinted windows, but no license. Remember, that same car was seen at the scene of another shooting or whatnot. Like it was like prowling downtown of another shooting. Like it was trying to carry out a shooting of somebody else, but I think they turned around or something and it was caught on video or whatnot, and the shooting didn't take place. But it was the same SUV with the tags taken off and everything, man. I don't know. Is this the hit video? The phantom vehicle that they use to go and carry out hits? Sosa man signed to Moneybag Yo. Never found it. Sauce, this dolphin. Interesting, man. I don't know. That's not a crazy conspiracy theory because it's kind of wild. It's a wild coincidence that a white vehicle is crazy. Maybe those dots connect. Maybe those dots do connect, man. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the chat what y'all think. And those of you who are still in here, holding on strong, make sure I hit that like button. But man, that'd be a wild connector to a situation that's going down, right? But as of now, in this whole Sauce Walka situation, it seems like he's recovering. And he's also out here, because this is a news story that was just released here. And it says, Sauce Walka recovering after being shot in broad daylight outside of Memphis hotel. So basically, Sauce Walka seems like he's in, I don't want to say he's doing good, because, brother got shot. How good could you be doing? But it seems like he's doing decent as far as what's happened, you know what I mean? Because obviously he's talking, and I thought I saw him walking. Don't get me wrong, I thought there was a video that was out there of him walking after the situation. So the story says that Sauce Walka is recovering after being shot in broad daylight in downtown Memphis on Saturday, March 22nd. The 34-year-old Houston rapper born Albert Walker Mondane was shot in the leg outside of a hotel near Memphis FedEx Forum when a car with multiple people pulled up and began firing. All right, so that's more evidence that multiple people were firing as opposed to a lone gunman or anything like that. So it looks like this was a planned, coordinated hit for sure. That was already confirmed by the police, but the motive is still escaping me. The connection between the car, the white vehicle being used in the Big Juke shooting, and the white vehicle being used in this shooting, and they both happened in Memphis, is wild. I ain't gonna lie, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Might be connecting dots that really work, man. So Sauce Walka is in full recovery, they say. And from what they say, an unidentified man who was with Sauce Walka at the time of the incident died from his injuries. A lot of people are saying that's Sayso P. Rest in peace. The victim's name has not been released. I want to look for, this appears to be a targeted shooting. Multiple people got out of that vehicle. Okay. The suspect vehicle pulled up. Multiple people got out of that vehicle, fired shots without engaging in any conversation. They got back into the white vehicle and fled. So whoever was there, they was there on business. They knew that their whole motive and their reason for showing up there was to take either Sauce Walka or Sayso P out. And a lot of people are pointing to Sayso P and maybe some situations that he had in the streets going forward, man. Now, it's crazy that a situation like this just comes out of nowhere. Maybe the shooters had been watching them on social media, saw that flexing that they were doing, and took this as their opportunity to take someone's life. But regardless of all that, it's a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing cool with any of that.
Bruh.
You know what I mean? But for one thing's for certain, more details are gonna come. Or maybe they don't. Because much like the Big Juke shooting, it's just a mystery. Like a lot of these things end up, especially in these high crime cities like Memphis, St. Louis, Chicago, certain parts of LA. Like when's the last time I think Pop Smoke, his shooting, PNB Rock, their shootings were solved because I feel like they were, high level rappers. But in these other cities, where do you see that level of police when it comes to these rapper shootings or anybody related to the rap game shootings? It's almost like it's in the wind. Like you never know if they're gonna find the person or not. And in Big Juke's case, it looks like they didn't. We'll see what happens with this, but regardless of all that, rest in peace to Sayso P. I didn't know him as an artist. I wasn't into his music like that, so I'm not gonna front like I was. You know what I'm saying? I am not gonna get here. I am a huge fan of Sauce Walka, and I hate to see him going through this situation once again. And man, hopefully a speedy recovery and condolences to all the families involved. Now with that, man, I appreciate everybody who showed up in the chat. I like reading y'all chats. I like talking about these subjects and be expecting some more lives from me in the future, man, because we back on that, man, especially since it seems like this is where the energy is and y'all love this type of content and I like talking about it, man. Like you can see, I can talk for hours upon hours, but I'm gonna let y'all go this time. And with that, man, y'all do me a favor. Before y'all get out of here, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell before you get out of here. And we out of here. Peace. Oh yeah, shout out to the chat.